What's happening, folks? Welcome to Music Monday. And I got to tell you, last week I made a mistake. I skipped the fifth album we put out and hopped straight to Ghost Dance. I didn't mean to do that. So today I'm going to back up, get on the fifth record, the album we put out in '98. We recorded at the Capricorn Studios in Macon, which was called Phoenix Sound at the time. Record called Sage with Toad. And basically, all this material was on a major label release earlier. We kind of redid it and put it all back out. So that's kind of where it came from. Mark Matheson had a graphic on the back of one of those albums of this Japanese sage with he had a staff in his hand. He was holding a toad in his left hand. I don't know if you ever saw that. That's where the name of the album came from. Sage with Toad, kind of bizarre, but people say, what does that mean? So that's kind of where it came from. All right, so Find. What is Find about? Find, I wrote this song a long time ago, and it's a fictional song. It's not about a girl in particular. It's really about a fantasy person, fantasy love interest that you never meet, actually. And kind of the concept of the song is being so caught up in the fantasy that you don't live in reality, and you might miss that golden opportunity, that special person that's right in front of you because you're just too caught up in a daydream. All right, so I knew this girl in Mississippi, was a girlfriend of a friend of mine. It went to Ole Miss. I remember telling me about I got that first verse idea. She would collect those old-timey blue medicine bottles. I don't know if you guys ever have seen any of those. She had tons of them. She had them in her kitchen window. And you said, I like the way the sun reflects through them. So that's kind of where I got the idea from that. Just a neat poetic image about, the rays in the glass get tangled up like lovers do. Morning so beautiful, by afternoon long gone. Here kind of tying into that whole fantasy thing, this fantasy lover you think you're going to have. And, when she's out of your mind or out of your dreams, that's it, she's gone. All right, second verse, there's kind of some pretty erotic stuff in there. I've been reading the book, The Bridges of Madison County, if you ever read that or saw the movie, and there's that part about them in the kitchen. So I think that's where that whole idea came from. That didn't happen. I say this is all fictional. Again, the bridge ties into the part about if you keep living in this fantasy world, you're going through this with your eyes wide open, but you're going to miss everything that you could find. So that's really the meat and potatoes of the whole song, is the bridge that's in it. All right, last verse, kind of encapsulating that perfect being, that perfect partner, mind, body, and spirit. All three of those elements. That you're lucky if you can get 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, pretty good. But if you get 3 out of 3, might want to hang on to that one. You know what I mean? And then that's kind of the idea of this whole song. It's just a really sensual type fantasy tune, and that's what we got in the skillet today. A tune I wrote on the Sage with Toad record called Fire. And I believe I was at Larry Mills' house in Atlanta, Georgia, when I wrote this. And I think Larry had this opening riff. King Laris, he was our general manager at Autonomous Records there in Atlanta, and I'm pretty sure, King, you wrote that first lick. And then I'll show you guitar players how to do that. So first thing you got to do is get in drop D, drop both E's to D, and that's that opening lick. It's just a back C, B, G. It's actually C, B, A, G. So you kind of roll it off. And then up to the F and the C position, do the same thing. All right, that's the intro. And then when it goes to the verses, it goes to D. All right, this part's a little harder. D. And then you're pulling off on the dang A string. 3rd fret, C, B, and then D. And pull on the D string this time. And bend it. And then E minor, C. So it goes. I'm grabbing that E string, pulling it off, and I go back to the D. D, pull, E minor, C, and then at the end of the tag on the verses, F, G, and I'm playing that F now, and drop D, you play 4, 5, 6 on the third, and your first finger, index finger on the second string on the first fret. It's kind of a stretch. It's that chord. Same as you use in Becky. So it's F, G. Back to the intro. That is the nuts and bolts. The bridge is completely different. Like I say, guitar players, join my Patreon if you want me to show you how to do it. Shoot me a message in there and I'll do a video and show you how to play them. So that's what we got for Music Monday. A sensual tune, a fantasy tune, a fictional tune I wrote called Fine. And as Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story, and you certainly do.